Alex Answer here at the moment of recording. It is Saturday, February 8th in the year 2018. Every now and again, I'll be putting out a video journal. How my life is enhanced by living off the grid through my own eyes, because we're all on this adventure. We're all living our own lives in the driver's seat, if you will. Hopefully we are. And in my own life, I chose to take a detour towards the rest of my life, as opposed to the choices that most people make. And I chose to remove myself from mainstream society for a number of reasons. So in this video that I'm going to be putting out on YouTube, I'll be reflecting on some of those things. And in the second half, I will be discussing on the on-demand channel some of the more personal things that I've learned, because it's important to learn from some of our mistakes. It's important to learn from some of our strengths, right? It's important, if we're YouTubers and we're living off the grid and we cover controversial content, to have the discernment to know what information should be put out publicly and what information is better suited for an environment like hanging out with a few friends in someone's home, a dinner party, having maybe a glass of wine or a cup of coffee with friends and supporters. So the second half of this video is for supporters, going deeper into this conversation, because there are things that I would like to discuss that are better suited for that medium. Let's first talk about audio-video quality. First of all, I don't spend a lot of time asking for money, because I'm on a shoestring budget and I am living within my means. If I was trying to expand and do a whole bunch of things at once and build some studio stuff, then you would see me with a GoFundMe trying to raise money specifically for upgraded camera equipment. I've had 2 cameras die recently. I lost one, the other one broke. That was the Canon, which I had for 2.5 years. That was the one in which my microphone plugged into. So there's a reason you're not getting good quality. I'm not being censored, nor am I disrespecting the audience by not attempting to make the audio quality better. I'm working with a $300 computer. I'm not even working with a Mac. The Mac that I have, the battery isn't working. But you don't need to be bothered with these things. You just need to be bothered, but see, you do deserve an explanation why sometimes the audio, video, etc. fill in the blank here. I'm an off-gridder. I'm not working with the equipment that the other guys are. And even if you do see me working with, oh, that video was good, it doesn't mean that viruses and other things can't corrupt a hard drive. So when I'm trying to use open source broadcasting, I'm not even getting frame rate like I was months ago. And I don't know anyone locally for car help, computer help, or basically other things. So, I mean, this is an ongoing social experiment. One man trying to continue doing what he's doing and be passionate about it. And it's not even easy, just in general, to be in this niche, but specifically giving a spiritual perspective on the global conspiracy. But when you add off-grid living on top of it, additional personal life discipline is needed. So in this first part for YouTube, we'll talk about some of those things, review some of those things that I've mentioned in past videos with some updated thoughts. And then in part 2, for the on-demand audience, we'll go into some personal things that I've experienced while living here on the land. Also epiphanies, things that I've thought about, additional pieces of information, and the insight that in this particular day and age of the YouTube demonetization, in which I have poured over a decade of myself into full time, to see what YouTube is doing to the independent content creator. If you cover certain things, or if you're considered to be in a certain category, and I've really struggled. It's great to reach this milestone of 14,000 subscribers. But at the same time, after how long, 13 years that I've been involved in this, I could be doing a lot better for myself. So yeah, I am exploring more and more, not only branching out from YouTube to the on-demand channel, but focusing more on the quality of what's being spoken about within those videos. And understanding that we are now in a very complex, aggressive, some could say psychotic, sociopathic world. And YouTube reaches much of that world. There's certain content, there's certain material that is safe for YouTube, right? That's also free from talking about certain geopolitical realities. Because if I talk about certain geopolitical realities, if I talk about certain nation states involved in certain drills, you know, we're not just talking about demonetization of the video. We're looking at something that can threaten the channel entirely. Do you understand? It's the idea of a channel coming up on a radar to those that have the ability to make that channel go sleep with the fishies in this bankster gangster world that we're living in now. It's bigger than demonetization. I want this channel to survive. But am I going to let the censorship of what's going on limit me? No. It's going to be expanded in the months ahead on my on-demand channel as I reach the 1-year anniversary since I started it with only 26 subscribers, with very little growth as of recently. I would like to see that change in the next month as I pour more energy into that channel on a regular basis to start matching, and I don't even know how I can even match even close to the energy that I put in the YouTube channel, but I can make a stronger attempt. And let me know what you would like to hear me cover on that platform. So I want to discuss some things at the beginning. The isolation is something that, do you ever really get used to it? And see, that's what drew me to the off-grid way of life, seeing where mass consciousness is, but you cannot go necessarily into the deepest forest of nature and find the goddess, if you will. I'm just speaking metaphorically. You don't have to take things literally. Or find God, if you will, or the Godhead, or Jesus, for some of you in the audience. Or inner blank here, the ascension, the enlightenment, Buddha at the tree. It takes work and perseverance, and it seems that some of the enlightenment that we experience and sense of accomplishment comes from extreme hardship. Sometimes overcoming extreme economic hardship and somebody basically starting over at the bottom. I think about my first off-grid experience in Costilla County and how empowering it felt, even though people were laughing at me during the time. Look at that bum coming here with nothing, living out of his car in a yurt he doesn't even own. And it's like, even though that was embarrassing, there was something about surviving sub-degree temperatures. I had a good friend at the time that brought me firewood. And I remember thanking God for this friend at the time many, many times in public before people. Some things have changed in recent years, and I found myself facing the ultimate test. Surviving where I am with a limited support group in mind, body, and spirit, and seeking to become a better person and a stronger person as a result of the hardship. Because the last thing that we want to do in this world is let this world turn us into a victim. The idea is to become more powerful than we've ever been before. Because we were forced to become powerful. Because we were forced to be more self-reliant in mind, body, and spirit than we were previously. This is something that I think a lot of you can relate to. Not just you men, but some of you women as well. See, we've been spoon-fed and given a lot from the bubble of the society, or what I call the grid. And I see how the grid has infected. I'm not saying it's all bad either. I can evolve that conversation as we go along the way. Also in part 2. We need to be able to see the good and the bad in everything. So when I in no way completely demonize people living within the grid. I think that there's certain factors, including personality, and others, including spiritual beliefs, or someone lack of being able to assimilate into a transhumanistic culture, which is not a traditional human culture. It's a new culture. Someone resisting the illness of the social engineering, mass media, mind control matrix playing out in today's larger cities. That's a person stepping back from the madness. But is there still good being done in the cities? Was there a purpose to me living in one of the biggest cities in the United States, now one of the growing ones, being born out of Portland, Oregon, starting my media activism on cable access TV before there was a YouTube, and finding out what that was like? And then the good times, right? Oh, the good times. Let the good times roll. Bush is the devil. Anti-war. To seeing things flip when Obama was elected. All of a sudden, Alex Ansary, bad man. And see, with Trump, it's Alex Ansary, bad man 2.0. Closet Clinton supporter. When I know what it was like to be thrown in the bus 8 years ago by a so-called progressive group. So you could say that my heart has been wounded, even broken, by both the Democrats and the Republicans because I'm an independent. And it's, as well as other factors that I've shared about on this channel. And things about me that are obviously different from others. Have I segregated from society, or has society chosen to segregate from me? Because either my ideas or other things about myself are considered undesirable by the consensus reality. It is only through hardship and a sense of being rejected, and at multiple places when I try to assimilate within the restaurant industrial complex, that I felt that my rejection, a sense of rejection, was my liberation. People can laugh and say, you guys are rejects, saying you want to live off the grid. You guys are rejects. Is it really a bad thing to be rejected by mass consensus? By mass consensus liberal politics? By mass consensus conservative Republican politics? Is that really a bad thing to be rejected by both the Democrats and the Republicans? Is that really a bad thing? And I say to you, the answer is no. I say there's something special about those that choose to remain independent, that will actually face public persecution because of their beliefs. How many times do you think somebody looks me up? Oh, maybe I'll hire him, or maybe archons, what's spiritual warfare? Hey, buddy, what makes you think you have the answers? That's offensive to me, Alex Ansary, that you have blogs and articles and hundreds of videos purporting to help people protect themselves from spiritual forces. Who do you think you are, buddy? Buddy? I've been watching more Bill Hicks lately. There's a lot of truth that Bill Hicks shared. If Bill Hicks was alive today, can you imagine the shit that people would be talking to Bill Hicks? Look at this closet Clinton supporter. Look at the Democrat. Butthurt, winning, butthurt. Look at the butthurt comedian. If Bill Hicks was saying what he was saying then in the 80s, that people pretend to be a fan of today, if he was saying it now, right? Do you really think that people would be applauding? See, a lot of people that live off the grid, a lot of people don't understand is that, especially those off-gridders that are in support of the way the political pendulum moves without realizing that there's a hidden hand that controls the whole thing. So the idea is to be off-grid from the mind control. Not be like off the grid, like I'm off-grid, I've got chickens and stuff. But still be in the political paradigm. Still be there living off the grid, but ready to be activated by some sort of an announcement, ready to be activated by some sort of an event. And see, oh, we've got this technology. Yes, we've got this Facebook. We've got $300 computers that can edit a documentary that could be seen by millions to billions. That's right. With the juice and support, something that cost me $330 some odd from a big box store, Wally World, that's still alive after 1.5 years, can actually make a documentary that can be seen around the world. Now that's power. That's focus. That's discipline. Okay? But someone can also take the same thing, that's like that scene from the Chappelle Show on Comedy Central. Instead of the player's ball, it's the hater's ball. Everybody want to hate, as if they're empowered by pointing their finger at others. By targeting others that are already being targeted. Yeah, what a big man. Big man, pick on people that are running for their lives. I see more and more when I go into some of these stores. More of that attention coming upon me. Sir, can I see your receipt? Sir, we need to see your receipt. The machine flagged you for some reason. Maybe Homeland Security at Walmart. We have little cameras. Oh, flag, number 1. Check his receipt. What the hell? Is this the airport? Or is this Walmart? Apparently it's the new Walmart. Sir, the machine says we have to see your receipt. As I felt the eyes at that thrift store, as his eyes of suspicion, every time I go to that specific thrift store. Nothing I can do about that but not go back to that thrift store. Maybe give him a business card. Hey, check out the site, buddy. Do you really think that I'm here to take $4 shirts? Or is there another reason that you're looking and that you're not looking away? But see, these answers I don't have. But I did walk away understanding. Now more than ever, despite the protests and people acting like they were upset about the system, on a general level, looking at society, the microcosm, they're more concerned with their fellow brother and sister stealing from a big box store. In many cases, people that aren't interested in stealing, but it's their job to be in that state of mind, but to not be concerned about the bank stealing from them. To not be concerned with those that have been placed and selected into power that are stealing our country from us. So are they really looking at the right thieves? Certainly he's not looking at the right thief if he's looking at me and thinking that I, for some reason, need to steal. And I'm not saying I'm wealthy, but hey, I don't need to steal a $4. And I'm not in a mindset of needing a shirt at all for any reason. I need clothing, right? But the idea of buying something retail or wearing brand new clothing, Giorgio Armani or elsewhere, that thinking I left in Portland. I never wanted Armani, right? But the idea of, pressed and pressed pants and hey, that's been evolved out of me to a certain degree. Nothing wrong with dressing nice. I think it's great to be able to go from off-grid to urban living, to dressing down and getting your hands in the dirt, to be able to working around computers and dressing nice and wearing a sports jacket. And to be quite frank with you, I'm setting my goals and where I want to live next. This is not the end of my journey here in southern rural Colorado. Maybe there's another state for me after I pay off this land in several years. Got $6,000 to go. But from that point, and let's just say that I'm able to get more of your support, and especially on the on-demand channel, we can have access to exclusive content that is better suited in a private environment amongst friends, having coffee instead of at a town forum where there are people throwing tomatoes and then running bootleg copies and then all types of other things that are going on. Like it's a big movie theater. It's like, shh, we're trying to watch the movie. Shh, we're trying to watch the movie. Can you please keep it down with that $3 piece of candy? And it's like YouTube is like that. It's a noisy room when those ads. Aren't you annoyed by those ads? I'm really annoyed by those ads. And there should be a way you can watch my content without a bunch of ads going, you're sleeping. Hey, but here's Alex answering. You are sleeping. But hey, here's Alex answering while you're sleeping. Look at this. Pop up. Pop up. So the on-demand channel is going to evolve, right? So I can survive also in the future and keep doing what I'm doing. They are clearly targeting the independent YouTube content creator. I'm going to go back to some other things before we move into the part 2 portion of this. So we talk about the reality of living off the grid versus the David Pakman assumption that you need to have all of these skills. We're talking about going off grid while society does exist and preparing for a potential event that could affect civilization. And that type of event could include natural earth changes like fires that could force an evacuation. This place is in risk. This place is in danger. There is a drought in Colorado at this time. Sure, we should apply our prayers to Colorado and other places, but it's possible that nature is just going to do what nature's going to do. And we don't have to get cosmic with it. Cause and effect, environmental changes, massive amount of spruce beetle destroying many trees in the wilderness areas of Colorado, right? All the factors are there right now for a massive forest fire. And so there's a lot of people who have lived here for years that are very, very concerned about the next few months specifically, because they are not even close to the amount of moisture that they need. So a person like me with an RV that's not even working has to be able to grab and go. I need to be applying because I might even have to use it. But I'm going to be applying more of my time to focusing on the basics of survival preparedness. For myself, I got to do whatever it costs. I have some money set aside here, about $100, to get the car fixed, get the spark plug cables changed out properly by a professional or someone that knows what they're doing with the proper tools. I've been surviving while the grid is still up, off a few hundred a month, and with YouTube AdSense plummeting. And so those supporting on Patreon or on demand, that support is making more of a difference than ever, but is also needed to increase more than ever during this time going into 2018. By my 38th birthday, yes, I'm getting that old. I want to have a bunch of content on the on-demand channel. It's a goal that I'm creating for myself. So for me to be isolated from certain help, it's only made me stronger and has forced me to be patient. The mechanic that's coming is sick. So the mechanic that'll be here tomorrow that I'm going to pay this money to help me with those things and an oil change and a fuel filter change, not all that for just the spark plugs. And we need to get the window to roll back up because, I've been driving although I haven't mentioned this, the whole winter with the window down. That's cold, especially going to the next town over. So I want to upgrade that. I may not have all these off-grid skills, but I have knowledge. I have the ability to research. I know that there's certain things out there that are better to have on hand, which I'll talk about in certain videos with regards to food and equipment. I know there are better areas to be in Colorado, Oregon, other states, certain areas that are better to be in than other areas. Some people may not have this information, and from the streets perspective, although I haven't been everywhere. And I think there's a lot of you that can contribute information too. It's not about being an expert. It's about people that have ever lived with less or with nothing, that have ever been without a home, that have had to survive and relocate and stay out of Dodge until they can get back on their feet. That is raw, valuable knowledge that can be used with regards to the shit hitting the fan. Okay, so anyone that's ever had to survive like I am, without help from the outside world, you need to have your food on hand, enough water on hand. That's critical. I don't have all the water that I need, but I've always had enough 7-gallon containers full lying around, or 15-gallon containers that are big blue drums. They go all the way up to 55-gallon drums, and already I'm shopping for something that'll be a few $100s for a garden. And I may pay someone $20 for 150 gallons. We may not have the same politics. It really doesn't matter. He's a local. There are others, right, in which if politics were kept out of the way and not what we disagree on, but what we agree on, then you have a local bartering system. Does some guy out there, or a mechanic, or a guy that runs water, or a guy that sells another good or service, $20 might be a lot of money to him, and it might be a lot of money to me. But would it not be better to keep it in the local community rather than people being divided over politics and Facebook mind control, right? Trying to lead people in certain directions. And I think that's what people are going to remember me by in the years to come, no matter what happens to America. That I was one of the few in the alternative media that said that we were divided over race, politics, gender, and many other factors, enter the blank here, by design, that it was not natural. It was not our natural way. It was not our natural way to be at odds with each other. It was all manufactured. But as the manufactured divide continues, right, while the grid is still up and mind control is still active, the divide will increase. And that's going to lead more people to want to live off the grid. But people need to be ready for what's out there and the greater realities of what they're going to face. And all that I'll continue on part 2.